Hey everyone, Neo Reality Entertainment here again. Let's talk about AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan in the Intercontinental Championship Tournament. So, a bit of backstory for those who have not been paying attention to what's going on in WWE for various reasons, or wrestling in general for various reasons, or for those who don't really go on social media all that much because, for various reasons, when it comes to wrestling, it's very toxic. A bit of backstory. So, Sami Zayn had after WrestleMania this year, not 30, had refused to compete because of the coronavirus and all the scares going on about it. Had decided not to defend his title, and WWE, while probably still pissed off at Sami, decided to relinquish his title instead of coming in and risking his health because fuck everything. Sami Zayn was reportedly mad about this, and WWE was reportedly upset with Sami that the fact that he chose to think as an individual. But, so it was decided that instead of doing a random out-of-nowhere matchup to determine the vacant champion, to determine the new champion, they decided to say, hey, let's host a tournament for SmackDown Live. Let's host a tournament, let's go ahead and showcase some talent, showcase some new blood, showcase some of the old talent. And sure enough, one of the breakout hits was Drew Gulak, who's recently been doing this partnership with Daniel Bryan. Would love to see them compete for the tag team division eventually. But yeah, that was ultimately the big gist of it. Drew Gulak got the breakout moments in this tournament and even fought Daniel Bryan. Then he had left because because of a contract dispute. Then he came back a week later, so all that drama. So AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan were the final two in this tournament, and they decided, let's have this match. The biggest negative of this match, though, I have, isn't the match itself. It's the fact that they had decided, no, let's not have this on pay-per-view because this is a vacant title and we're trying to make it very serious. No, let's give it away on SmackDown Live. Let's give it on free TV. Now, my problem with this is the biggest gripe. Whereas AEW and NXT have the philosophy of we're not doing as many pay-per-views and thus we get away with doing big-time matches on free television. So it's understandable when they do it for ratings attention and whatnot and for quality presentation. But when I see the main roster do it, it's like you do realize you have a 15 pay-per-view system. Okay, granted it's way overbearing instead of the traditional 12 system, and even then that's pushing it. But you're going to give away this match that everyone knows they can bring it from their past encounters and decide the champion on free TV, and you're not going to put it on pay-per-view. It's like, then why should I tune in on Backlash that following few days from now? Because the IC Championship isn't going to be there, and there are those who just like to see the IC title in action. So yeah, that was the biggest gripe people had. Like, why is this tournament finale being uploaded, to so to speak, to free TV and not be paid for or bought on the network? I don't know. So, yeah, this match, this was what you would expect from a Daniel Bryan AJ Styles match. You would expect technical masterpiece, limb control, all that stuff, all the stuff that makes you cringe when you see the limbs being twisted and turning. Like, I'm pretty sure Pete Dunne's having a fetish over it because he's not the one delivering the limb twists and the bone manipulation. But yeah, so, and the other major gripe with this match was the constant commercials they kept putting in there, from what I heard. I didn't watch this match live. I watched it on the WWE Network, and for some fucked up reason, because here's the thing, I always felt like the benefit of having the WWE Network instead of being it on TV was, whereas TV you have commercial commitments, you have sponsors. When you have the network, you could cut out the commercials and give us a full-length director's cut, so to speak, where you can show the full segment without any uninterrupted content. No, instead WWE, for some reason, decided to keep promoting the network, because even though we have the network and they had to have spliced that in there and the commercials are cut out, it's... Why? Why couldn't you do like you used to do when you had the network? You put in a bonus scene taking place during a commercial break. Why can't the network have that benefit of having the full unfiltered unedited scene of the wrestling match and just go from there. Like, have a full length matchup going on. But yeah, the match, like I said, it was pretty damn awesome. You get Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles just having a natural technical wrestling match, and alternately having these limb movements and everything. Like, every time I see Bryan kick Styles' arm when it's twisted in an unnatural way, I was like, okay, how is that not snapped off yet? How is that not snapped off? It has happened like 4 or 5 times in the past year or two, and yet Styles is not having joint problems, or at the very least having a shoulder lock replacement fixing. I butchered that, so sorry, medical professionals. But rotator cuff, that's what I was going for. But yeah, Bryan and AJ Styles once again prove they should be main eventing the damn shows more, and that they should be. And this wasn't even the main event for some reason. Like, you would expect this tournament to be, and since this is taped, they would expect this to go last because it's, well, the Intercontinental Championship, and they were building this up as the next big thing for it. Like, it was going to get pushed to the extreme. I don't know how that's working for them, since I have not been watching the shows on a regular basis, and I'm not even watching it now. I'm just watching snippet clips of it or snippet matches, just picking and choosing what matches I want to watch. The benefit of the streaming industry that the Nelson reign completely neglects, and DVR. But yeah, and also, once again, you get these moments where Daniel Bryan's neck is on the line. I know it's been several years, and plus Daniel Bryan likes to do his "I'm going to go ahead, jump off this top rope and land on my head." You can't help but wince and cringe when you see that, because you know Bryan's neck was always a questionable problem, and Bryan's concussion history is, a lack of a better term, problematic. And to see Bryan still trying to continue his unsafe wrestling style, and he's like, oh, you could do it, leads to that constant conspiracy theory. I'm not sure if it's accurate, but how Bryan was always clear, but WWE didn't want to risk it with another Chris Benoit, and they faked things and whatnot, and or something like that, or they just didn't want Bryan around because Bryan's too popular and it would ruin their agendas, because WWE has to have an agenda to everything. But yeah, that's always a constant conspiracy I've heard. So leave it to R-Truth to get to the bottom of this. And I was honestly expecting, and I was like, and this was almost a 30-minute epic, and it was 26 minutes. I kept hearing it was 35 minutes. Maybe it's an unfiltered director's cut. But yeah, this was possibly the best match for SmackDown Live this year, I think I kept hearing, as I kept hearing it. But the match was just really great. They are having insane chemistry, and AJ Styles and Bryan always bring into the ring. Bryan was apparently trying to push for the idea of doing an open challenge for the IC title. AJ Styles is, well, AJ Styles, and he's a heel. And this was after AJ Styles had moved to SmackDown after some issues with Paul Heyman. Styles denied about his issues with Paul Heyman, other than calling him a liar, and I'm thinking to myself, wait, then what the hell was the whole point of that emotional segment after, when AJ Styles stood in the background and Paul Heyman delivered this passionate speech about how AJ Styles is the best in the world and everything? But now it's like, was there issues? I know that was like 2-3 years ago, but are there issues now between the two? No idea. I'm like, all I kept hearing was that Paul Heyman didn't go to bat for Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They got fired. AJ Styles resented him for it and then left and went to SmackDown as part of a trade deal. But yeah, yeah, that wasn't going to work the way it did. Another debate that was being talked about was his time. Like, some were saying 26 minutes, others were saying 37 minutes, 38 minutes borderline. But yeah, and I love how Renee goes ahead and says, hey Styles, how does it feel to get the title that's finally eluded you, when he finally wins using the Styles Clash? And then yeah, So AJ Styles does a phenomenal forearm to get the win and returns to Styles Clash. But when Renee says, "How does it feel to finally get the title that's eluded you for years now?" I was thinking to myself, "Oh, okay." So and AJ Styles just says he's phenomenal and everything, and I was thinking to myself, "Man, that's a missed opportunity." He could have just said, "Oh, whoa, Renee, hey, let's get something straight here. I wasn't being eluded the Intercontinental Championship. I was biding my time because I am phenomenal. I get the title when I want the title," which would make sense because he was WWE champion, and Styles is probably not going to do Styles 2 belts. Also, I was thinking to myself, yeah, I was trying to think of myself like, okay, so this was before Backlash, and yet they're going to have this match before Orton and Edge's greatest wrestling match ever, because we have to make that gimmick a thing. I haven't watched the cinematic match yet. I'll probably will at a later date, but I'm still wondering why they even went with that. But yeah, AJ Styles is now Intercontinental Champion. Now he just needs to win the tag team titles, and he would have won every title in the WWE at this point in time, besides, the Universal title, but he'll still be a Grand Slam champion. But it's curious to know who would be his tag team champion. I would honestly hope for Daniel Bryan to be his tag team partner later down the road when he turns face. But I would love to see Styles become Grand Slam champion before he retires. That or fight Kenny Omega, but Kenny Omega is never going to go to WWE until probably after Styles has retired. So, yeah, good luck with that. Or Styles decides to freak everyone out and go to AEW to pop the territory, so to speak. But, yeah, we had a big, epic mega match between AJ Styles and Bryan, commercial breaks and whatnot, and the fact that this was not on pay-per-view. This really should have been on Backlash to give it more importance. And they were building the IC title up, talking about all the past victors and whatnot, and all the legacy behind it, trying to push for the IC title to mean something again. Though they cut out Chris Jericho because fuck that. Because we can't have an AEW traitor go ahead and be promoted. That would be stupid, despite the fact that Chris Jericho is a 10-time IC champion. IWGP Intercontinental Championship still counts to me. And last thing, this is a tangent. It does relate to the IC title, but now it came out that WWE is trying to put out applied for a trademark to trademark the term Intercontinental Championship. So, if I had to guess, if that gets approved, and I seriously hope it doesn't, like the Too Sweet thing, and yet WWE's using the WCW logic to go with it to try and say they own it, even though they clearly lost the case on that. But would that mean, and this is my mind of regarding trademark law, I'm not an expert on any of this, but would that mean New Japan would have to change the names, though they're based in Japan and WWE is based in America, and trademark law is probably different there, and copyright law is different there? Then you got to also account that New Japan is trying to push for stuff to go into America, have wrestling in America there, for trying to be part of their expansion, so WWE could theoretically try and get involved or pull some bullshit that makes no sense and send a cease and desist, say, stop calling it the IC title, even though it's better looking than ours. But yeah, that's a conundrum we'll probably see later down the road if the trademark's approved, because fucking making sense of it. But yeah, yeah, so those were my thoughts on AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. Looking to see how AJ Styles' reign ultimately turns up and see the legit seriousness they're giving to the IC title. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more. And stay tuned for more. And what? Stay tuned for more? Let's talk about this later. Let's talk about this next time.